Luan finds herself on a quiet, grassy hill, beneath a deep night sky glowing with stars. Above her, the sky doesn't just twinkle, it moves. Waves of deep blue swirl like wind, dotted with golden moons and stars. She takes out her sketchbook and a little jar of star-shaped ink. With a deep breath, she begins to draw what she feels, not just what she sees. The starry sky that Luan sees is inspired by a real painting. The Starry Night, by the Dutch artist Vincent van Gogh, painted in June 1889. At that time, Van Gogh was living in an asylum in Saint-Rémy-de-Provence, France, after suffering from a mental health crisis. From the window of his room, he observed the world in silence, the sky, the wind, the moon. And in that quiet, he turned his pain and wonder into paint. He didn't just paint what was outside. He painted what was inside, his hopes, his sadness, and his longing for peace. The village in the painting wasn't real. It was from his memory, added to give comfort and meaning. The sky, however, danced as if it had a heartbeat. Van Gogh's brushstrokes are bold and swirling, almost sculptural. He used impasto, a technique where paint is applied thickly, so the strokes rise from the canvas like waves. The moon and stars shine like tiny suns, symbolizing hope in darkness. The tall black cypress tree, often seen in cemeteries, reaches up like a flame, perhaps a bridge between life and death. The sky is full of motion, but the village below is still and calm. This contrast shows the tension inside Van Gogh's mind, the chaos he felt, and the peace he longed for. Some scientists have found a surprising truth inside Van Gogh's painting. The swirling patterns of the Starry Night closely match real turbulence patterns seen in nature, like air, water, and even gas clouds in space. Van Gogh never studied physics, but his mind felt things deeply. It's as if his emotions were so powerful, they tapped into universal truths. Others believe the sky represents his spiritual yearning, a desire to escape the pain of earth and rise into something eternal. In the middle of his suffering, he painted a night full of life, mystery, and hope. And perhaps, through the stars, he was reminding himself, and us, that there's always something bigger than our sadness. When Van Gogh painted The Starry Night, he had no idea how famous it would become. He only sold one painting in his lifetime, and this was not it. But after his death, people began to see the beauty and emotion in his work. The Starry Night became a symbol of how art can express what words cannot. It has inspired countless other artists, musicians, and even astronauts. Some say it's not just a painting, it's a feeling. A reminder that even in our darkest nights, there is still light waiting to be seen. Van Gogh painted The Starry Night in June 1889. Today, the original painting lives at the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, in New York City. It hangs quietly in a softly lit room. When you stand before it, you can almost hear the wind whispering, see the stars breathing. You're not just looking at paint, you're feeling someone's soul. And now, the stars have found their shape. Swirls of blue, rivers of gold, and a sky full of wonder. You brought it all to life with your colors. Luan looked up at the sky one last time. The stars were still dancing, but something inside her had changed. With a gentle smile, she closed her sketchbook, stood up quietly, and walked out of the painting, carrying the night's magic in her heart. With each stroke, Luan wasn't just painting the sky. She was painting everything she felt. The quiet, the wonder, the longing. And when the last star found its glow, she finally felt whole. Let's step back and see how your colors turned the night into a dream. Every night holds a sky full of dreams, if we learn to see with our hearts.